Now, when you want to get better at golf, what do you go do? You go get lessons, of course, but a lot of you experience getting way worse after those lessons. So we're going to get into the 3 reasons why you're getting worse after your golf lessons, because you, of course, should not be getting worse. You should be getting a lot better. So, number 1, and that is bad or incomplete advice given to you by your golf instructor. So, this is the only one in here which is not your fault. The other 2 certainly is your fault. But this one here is so unbelievably common that virtually every new student I have come to me, they say, well, what they've been working on before, and I'm shocked. So if you are given, let's say, advice that's incomplete. So let's say you need to turn more in a downswing. You need to get a little bit more rotation. And you're just being told to turn more. Oh, this is a good one. If you are someone who casts through the golf ball, you're someone who adds loft, the drill you'll be given most often is this. Stick up the club shaft just like this and told to not let the stick hit your side. It's a good drill, really good drill. I've given students this drill. I've done videos about this drill as well. But if they're not getting into why you're doing that, why are you adding loft going through the golf ball, this will never ever fix you. You would most likely get worse, because for this drill, for example, if you shove the hands forward without knowing it's a byproduct of rotation and some other things as well that we'll talk about, if you just shove the hands forward, you're going to shank the golf ball. So you will get worse after that lesson. So that's where, if you're given complete advice and not, for this example, just to do that drill, you would have been told club face is most likely open. So club face is open, which then is leading you to throw the club at it, to square the club face up. It's one good example there. So that's where absolutely every time when you get told a little bit of information, you can either ask the pro, why am I doing that? Is there a reason? Am I just doing it because I'm doing it, which is sometimes the case? But most of the time, are you doing a downswing, late downswing fault because of something else happening in your swing? Something we talk about all the time on this channel is root cause issues. That's always what's being told here. No root cause issues with some golf instructors. So, incomplete or bad advice, where it just falls into both of them, absolutely. There's plenty of videos on my channel about outdated advice that we're kind of dispelling as myths in the golf swing. Absolutely there. So let's get into the second one. And like I said, these 2 are your fault, slightly actually. So that's where, again, you should be told this next one. And that is, you need to do in your practice drills on pretty much every single shot. Every single shot. So if you're trying to change, let's use our same example again, the casting guy. If you are not working on getting that club face squarer and then working on how that body's rotating, moving through whilst doing this drill on every single shot, it's either going to take so unbelievably long, or you're going to be stuck in limbo of half doing one thing, half doing the other. So that's where, if I had 100 balls that I'm hitting into my net, I'm going to hit 100 balls doing this. I'm going to make my club face as square as I can, as early as I can. So my takeaway, nice square face. I'm going to make sure I'm not doing anything funky in my swing that opens the club face up from there. And I'm going to then swing up and swing through with these little swings, and then preventing this stick as I'm turning through from hitting my side. If I was a caster of the golf ball, which I have been in the past, I would do that for every shot in my practice session. So just these little swings, and then I'll be able to get that feel, and then I'll be able to get it into my golf swing, and I wouldn't be getting worse. So there we go. I'll be doing that a lot and a lot. So again, slightly into the first bit of this video of bad advice, you should be told that. That's something that, from my experience, before I was a coach, when I used to go and see a lot of coaches back in the past, you could always tell the good ones from the bad ones are the ones that actually told you to do stuff afterwards, not just said, you're doing this wrong, see if you can fix it. Because if a coach is even just giving you a drill sometimes, that's a great thing. That's a sign of a coach that actually cares. A lot of them will just say, you're swinging over the top, you know, and then watch you hit balls for another little bit, and that'll be the end of the lesson. No drills to do, for example, or no reasons why. But never gets told of how much you have to do. Like with my lessons, I will always be telling my students how many balls they have to hit, and it is every time hit all of them. If this is a brand new swing change, all the balls doing the drill. I don't want to see you do shots where you're not doing it, because if you are, you're going to be having your subconscious fault every single time. So, and if half-hearted with it, you'll most likely get worse. We want to then try and overdo it. Try and overdo it as much as you possibly can. You're not going to have a fault in the other way, you'll just get better. So the third reason why you're getting worse is because you're not giving it enough time. Not enough time at all. Now, this is the one thing I think everyone's golf instructor-wise are universally good at, and that's telling you it's going to take a long time, because it generally will. Now, sometimes it's not as long as you think it will be, but a lot of you will be thinking, okay, I've watched this tip on YouTube, or like for this video case, I've had a lesson, it's not working after a week. I'm actually hitting the ball worse because I don't trust these feels yet. So I'm going to go back to doing what I'm doing. So it's very, very common. You've got to really, really long ball it on how long it's going to take. If I'm making a swing change, if like, say I've had a lesson, making a swing change afterwards, I'd say minimum, this is going to take 6 months to get into my golf swing, regardless of what it is. So it could be something about wrist angles, which would generally take a little bit sooner to get into a golf swing than a rotation, big pivot movement. But I'd still expect it to be 6 months. If you're doing the right practice, you will do it way before. You'll make that change. But not giving yourself enough time, because ultimately, when you're in the short term of making a change, again, you're not going to get better straight away because your body doesn't trust the new movement yet. You haven't ingrained it into the subconscious. You're not going to be able to do it out on the golf course for a very, very long time. So that's where you need to continue to drill and drill and drill. You might nicely have a fault that takes no time at all, or you might just naturally get the hang of it really fast. Could happen, it's happened before. I've got videos on my channel of students who have done that same thing. Got the one from the other week, one lesson, managed to make the change. Rare, but it can happen. So really expect it to take a long, long time. Don't just stick on something for a little bit of time and expect it to work and move and bounce onto something else, or just think that, let's say your golf instructor's bad like you're at the first point. Most likely not. It's most likely you're just not giving it enough time. That's one of the things that really shocks my students, especially when we're working on big pivot movements, is how long it does take. Little things can take quick, but normally it will take a long time. So, okay, bad advice, that's one. That's why you're getting worse. Two, you're not doing enough of the drills. Say this every lesson. Every lesson. Do more drills. Three, do a lot of drills for a long time. Long, long time. Golf is a marathon, not a sprint. You've got to really do a lot for a long time to retrain that subconscious. If you're not doing any of those, other than the first one, the bad lessons, you're going to be getting worse, absolutely. So, if you like this video, click that like button for more golf instruction just like this. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified every time. So a couple of rules of thumb here, especially on the first point, guys. Make sure you understand why you're doing something, and make sure your instructor tells you why you're doing something in your lesson, not just try and do something a little bit different. Always the why. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?